Yes and no. I mean, yes and no. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, yes, no, maybe. Who knows? But
I'm just not giving a fuck. Really, just not giving a fuck. Just whatever happens, happens. You know, like just I'm here for a reason. Don't overthink it. You know, just play the game like you know how to play it.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Marty Time TV and the Section 1904 podcast. I am Marty Caswell. That is AJ Cassavell. We are getting ready for Darren Smith, who's probably, I should think about this now. His beloved Knicks are heading to the NBA Finals after sweeping the Cavs.
Oh, are they?
So, yeah, I'm not sure if you knew this.
I hadn't heard.
Yeah, maybe your newspaper hasn't been delivered yet, but Darren's probably, just reveling in the streets right now, shirt off, drinking champagne. So that's probably why Darren will eventually show up bleary-eyed before he gets ready for the World Cup soccer reveal. But AJ, good to see you. Thank you for being here. I'm glad I could break the news to you on the Knicks.
I'm focused on the Padres. No, I'm very happy for all my Knicks fan friends out there. They've waited a long time in suffering. As a long-suffering Nets fan, I'm also extremely jealous. So, good luck to the Knicks. Hopefully they get swept. I'll let Darren know my feelings on this.
That's the true spirit. So when Darren comes back, you can just let him know how you're feeling. I know he was anxious and nervous. You told him, don't worry about it. All right, let's go ahead.
I thought they would win the East, and that is my purely it's not like I know what I'm talking about when it comes to the NBA, but the East felt like it stunk this year, and the Knicks were actually good. So the only good team in a crappy Eastern Conference. I mean, those are some of my watching the 2002 Nets get their butts kicked by the Lakers in the finals. That team was really fun. So, crappy East. Congrats to the Knicks.
Make sure you let him know that analytically, though, the Cavs won Game 3.
What a dumb thing to say. As someone who loves analytics, what a dumb thing to say. What a just dumb thing to say. You got to win the games. That's the point of analytics, is to help you win the games. And if they're not winning the games, do something better.
Hey, if I lived in Cleveland, I am so making a fortune off T-shirts on we won Game 3 analytically. All right, I'm going to go ahead and use that right now to transition to the puzzling, maybe it's puzzling, the 31-22 Padres. What do the analytics say about the Padres? Yeah,
the analytics say that they're about a 27 26, 28, 25 team. Not exactly 9 games over 500, but probably decent enough. And I still think that there's clearly more to be tapped into offensively with Machado, Tatis, and Merrill. This can't keep going on like it has. Now, I will say it could keep going on it could keep going on in the sense that these guys aren't going to get back to their career numbers at this point. We're a third of the way into the season. I would be very surprised if these guys finished at their career totals because of how long they've struggled now. But that being said, there's still clearly a whole lot more to tap into with this offense. So if analytically the Padres are 1 or 2 games above 500, but in reality they're 9 games above 500, they're finding ways to win games. They're doing it with a bullpen that typically, when you have a great bullpen, that can kind of eschew the analytics and you can outperform those projections.
Yep.
So I don't know. I still don't know what to make of this team. It's Memorial Day. That's when everything starts to matter. That's always been my thing. I know it's kind of a cliche in baseball, but nothing really matters till Memorial Day. So now pick up standings, look at them. Padres are in decent shape, all things considered.
It's a weird baseball season. I know yesterday, and of course you were there in postgame as well, Craig Stammen was asked to assess this team. How do you assess this team? How do you assess this team in this offense? You gave me the great answer on the bullpen, and I'm going to ask you that same question I've been asking you since day one as to the Padres' biggest needs. But right now, as it stands on May 26th, 1/3 mark, this is just who they are.
I don't know if it's who they are, because these guys are going to hit more than what they have. Right now, this offense kind of stinks. It's 29th in OPS, and it's bottom 10 in most categories. The Padres don't have to be a top 10 offense to be very good. They can ride their bullpen and then maybe figure it out in the rotation and be a pretty good team if they have the 15th best offense in baseball. But their offense can't really be what it has been so far. But I don't think this is who they are. Like I said, I don't think we're going to get Machado, Merrill, and Tatis back to their career numbers. I also don't think they're going to be this bad. So if those guys finish with collectively a 710 OPS, well, you would say that's pretty disappointing for what you expected from those guys this season. But you would also say that based on what they've gotten so far, that's a whole lot better than what they've produced. So I still think it's there to come. I don't really know. Like if I'm watching all three of these guys right now, I think Tatis has been he's taken by far the best at bats lately.
Yes.
Machado and Merrill looked kind of lost at the plate yesterday. I don't know what the fix is going to be. Like you can't have all three of your stars struggling. Like get two of them going, and then this is a pretty good team. But the Padres can't seem to do that right now.
Do you think the Padres might make some changes? And I'm not sure you can't make some changes for some of the players that you have. But I mean, listen, you've covered baseball long enough. You know what happens when a team is struggling offensively. You know what the scapegoats are, fair or not. Do you think that is something they've been discussing?
No, I don't think so. I think they're pretty content with like what they've gotten from the guys who aren't those big three. And I've said this before here is that like if you basically raise the floor of the three guys that are struggling, it's a pretty good offense. Like they're getting a lot out of Ty France. They're getting a lot out of Gavin Sheets. They're getting a lot out of Campusano and Andujar. Yep. Like they're like the guys that they needed to be role players are outperforming what they would have been as role players. And so I think the hitting staff gets some credit for that. Maybe if this lingers on deep, like even deeper into the season, but like, why would you look at making changes when you're 9 games above 500, kind of outperforming? It just doesn't make much sense to me. So no is my answer to that. I think they've just got to figure it out with these three stars. I don't know where it's going to come from. I don't know like what I've said it many times here. I'm not like a hitting mechanics kind of guy, but something's got to change with a couple of them. And again, they don't have to slug 600 the rest of the way. If these guys get their OPS up in the 700, 750 range, Padres will be in good shape considering how poor they've been so far.
You know, I know yesterday after Manny Machado struggled with runners in scoring position and he took it on himself, like it stops with him. He's a star player. That's where the production has to come from. And I do wonder if the Padres might do more. I mean, Craig Stammen has shuffled the lineup a lot this season. I caught a bit of Phillies manager Don Mattingly yesterday in pregame, and he talked about how he actually values lineup continuity. Do you think that would help? That would be beneficial to the Padres? Or when you're struggling as much as they are, you really need to shake things up and kind of go with a hot hand, 1 through 4?
Well, it's kind of tough because you've gotten lineup continuity with Manny Machado. He's been basically in the 4 spot all season, and he's struggled. Yep. And you haven't gotten lineup continuity with Jackson Merrill, who's kind of moved all over the place this season, and he's struggled. And kind of same goes for Tatis, who struggled when he was moving all over the place. Now he seems to be back in the number 1 spot. I mean, he's playing well, so maybe there is something to be said for that. But again, like I'm always going to be a guy who doesn't think the lineup's that important, but enjoys talking about it. Like I don't think where you put guys matters all that much. It's can they produce, and they're not producing. So is there a case to like drop Manny Machado in the lineup? Yeah, there's a case. He hasn't been good enough offensively. There's also a case to keep him where he is because the team that you envision winning in October probably has Manny Machado hitting 4th.
Yep.
So you kind of ride out whatever this is right now and expect him to be better than what he has been, even if he's not going to be like you want to keep talking about the back of the baseball card. Well, it's going to take a lot for Manny Machado to get his numbers to what they are at the back of the baseball card at this point. Like that's just the reality of the situation. If you spent a third of your season with an OPS below 600, it's going to take a lot to get your numbers to what they were in your career if your OPS is around 800. So I think that's unlikely at this point, but there's still Manny Machado seems like a continuity kind of guy, a guy who would benefit from staying where he is.
I would agree. Not like there's an obvious answer. There's no one guy who's who's raking right now. You're like, yes, that's the guy. How do you not have him batting 3rd or 4th? I mean,
and they did put Andujar 2nd and Sheets 3rd, and I think that's worked out pretty nicely. Like those two guys are contributing, and they were coming up in some big spots and gotten some big hits, and so that's another thing throughout all this. Like they've been terrible with men in scoring position for the last week, but for most of the season they've been very good with men in scoring position. So it's not like I think what we're seeing now is like the kind of what it looked like, what the offense is if they're not hitting with men in scoring position, which is not very good. But they've gotten production. So this isn't just like every team's going to go through a slump at some point. This one kind of feels especially terrible because I think it's 6 of the last 7 games where they have 0 hits with men in scoring position. Yeah. But their OPS is 29th in baseball. Their OPS with men in scoring position is 9th. So that's
incredible.
It's not
it really
that's not the issue.
Okay.
it is the issue the last 3 games, but if you're dealing with a small sample size, that's just going to happen.
Okay, I swear this is the absolute truth, AJ. And if you go back and listen to the show, you will know what I'm talking about. As you were pointing out some positives for the Padres OPS, because you're doing the show outside right now, I swear to you, there were birds chirping in the background. So it's like, see, the nature is telling you, AJ Cassavell, you're actually onto something. There are some positives you can glean away during the dark times for the Padres offense. Literally,
I'm not gleaning that as
chirping.
positive for what
No,
it's
no.
worth. Like the fact that they're 9th in the league in OPS with men in scoring position at 29th overall,
It's
I would
insane.
think that they would regress more toward 29th. Like that's the number they got to get up. It's not. You are what you are as an offense. Sometimes you get hits with men in scoring position, sometimes you don't. And this offense has not been very good. But like again, if you want to talk about where they need to add or what they need to change,
Yep.
they need these 3 guys hitting. That's pretty much what it comes down to. You can talk. I guess you could add a left-handed bat, maybe a lefty corner outfield type, kind of to platoon with Castellanos or DH platoon with Andujar. I don't know exactly like how you use them, but they could use one more lefty bat either off the bench or platooning. But like other than that, what do you upgrade? Like the upgrades need to happen from within. They need to happen with the guys that are getting paid to hit first, third, and fourth in the lineup.
What's going to happen when Luis Campusano returns off IL? And I think he is ramping things up, right? Baseball activities. He's catching right now. He's hitting. What's going to happen when he does return?
Yeah, I think there's kind of a battle right now between Fermin and Duran for that spot. Fermin has not been good enough offensively, but Duran hasn't lit the world on fire offensively. He's been subpar too.
Yeah.
They're both very good defensive catchers. Duran's arm is outstanding, and he's been very good with challenges.
Yep.
He's been solid framing wise, and so he has a case. It's a very small sample case, so I think you'll see it kind of play out over the next week or 2. I don't know how far Campusano is away, but I would expect him to go on a rehab for at least a couple games to kind of get his feet under him.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing a lot. He's catching bullpens. He's basically hitting in the cage at full strength and doesn't have any issues with the toe there. But he's not quite like pain-free with the toe. And so I think you might as well extend this IL stint as long as you need to, because you don't want this thing lingering into the season. You don't want him being at the plate and having it hinder him. You don't want him being behind the plate and having it come back up, because catching is a hard thing to do. So I don't think that's a question we need to answer right now, but I do think there are people with the Padres looking at Freddie Fermin and Rodolfo Duran and wondering which of these guys should we keep when Luis Campusano is back, which probably a couple weeks away.
That's quite something. Duran's actually, he's a great story, man. What a story. 11 years in the minors, 28 years old, and getting his chance. All right. Injury front, I think Stammen said that Marquez, is he going on a rehab assignment? German Marquez?
He is facing hitters. I don't think he's starting a rehab assignment yet. I don't know when he's facing hitters, but there'll be sometime this week where he actually pitches, probably at Petco Park, if I had to guess, against live hitters.
And then Joe Musgrove he's playing catch. He's going to resume playing catch. So he might, hopefully, maybe after the All-Star break, but there's no real timeline still, right, for him and Nick Pivetta.
Yeah, and that's, again, the Padres are getting by in the rotation. And I keep saying that, like, all they have to do is get by and get these guys healthy. Big ask, get them, like, you never know what's going to happen with pitchers. But, like, if those guys are making 12, 13, 14 starts down the stretch, who cares that you didn't have them in April, May, and June? Like, it'll affect the standings. Maybe you lose a couple games in the Dodgers. Maybe you don't win the West. Maybe you're not in contention for the West as a result. But you want those guys in October, excuse me, and there's no reason to rush them.
Okay. A couple things. I don't know. I'm not sure what happened to Darren. I swear to you, he and I just talked like 30 minutes ago, and he is nowhere to be found. I know he's very excited. He's getting ready for the World Cup roster reveal. Our last show together, I told you to tell me, AJ, what vacations you might plan based on the World Cup, going destination city, getting tickets, and just making it an event. Have you made a decision yet? Where are you going to go?
Well, I'm going to a game in LA. I've had that on the docket the whole time. That'll be Switzerland, Bosnia.
Okay.
But I'm also going to Vancouver for New Zealand versus Egypt, which will be awesome because Mo Salah is one of my favorite players of all time. Okay. And it'll be, I forget where the Padres are that weekend. I think Texas But take that
Oh,
weekend
that's
off.
like in 2 weeks. Oh, wow.
Yeah, a couple weeks. Take that weekend off. Go up to more than 2 weeks, right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah, it's a
Yes.
little bit of a ways away. It's
Okay,
like 3 or
that's
4 weeks
great.
away. But it'll be a lot of fun. I have some family in Vancouver. I love that city. It feels like a lot of these American cities that are hosting World Cup matches have stadiums that are not really downtown or part of the city, which is a little bit of a bummer. As we know, people who live in San Diego, like downtown stadiums rock. So,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people in Europe also feel that way because the stadiums are generally a part of the city or a part of the town. Vancouver is one where the stadium's right there. And so I'm looking forward to being kind of a part of it all, whatever that weekend brings.
What's the date when you go to Los Angeles? Is that near around the Padre Dodger series, or do I have that completely off?
No, that'll be the week before. I want to say, like, it's around the same time as my Vancouver trip. So it's during that same road trip that the Padres are on. Padres have a nice little 10-day road trip that I can take a couple series off of and focus on some World Cup soccer before I get back into it, before the trade deadline really comes into focus.
How exciting. Okay, I need to end things with a trade deadline question. Darren's getting ready because he's got a TV hit on the World Cup roster and probably his Knicks as well. So it's a big day for Darren Smith. How about
Enough
the
about
tickets?
the Knicks.
Dude, I'm sorry.
Tickets were fine.
Really?
Yeah, they're fine for Vancouver. I mean, it's New Zealand, Egypt. I would have liked to pay less than I did, but they weren't exorbitant like I've seen some U.S. tickets, and they've come down significantly too. So they weren't that bad. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Okay, you mentioned the trade deadline. Is this going to be the most fascinating? Here comes Darren. Is this going to be the most fascinating trade deadline of the AJ Preller Padres era, considering we're expecting what?
No.
I mean, you're gonna have new ownership in place.
Better not
by
be.
then.
No, I just don't like. I don't know how it could be more fascinating than 2022 or even last season, like, because I just don't have the prospects. So you're gonna have new ownership in place, and they're gonna maybe want to make a statement or want to do something, but like you have to have players and prospects to do that. And in 2022, they had one of the best farm systems in baseball, and they went out and got a future Hall of Famer and traded away prospects who are littered throughout baseball right now, having great seasons. Like, that was a crazy trade deadline, as was 24, as was 25, as was 2020. This year, I am expecting it to be, by other team standards, probably an interesting trade deadline for the Padres. Like, but by the Padres standards, I don't know how it can reach those levels. I think they have areas they'd like to address, but I don't think it reaches those levels.
Okay, I know that AJ has to bounce in a couple minutes, so Darren is here.
Well, I just assume you guys fixed all the Padres' problems.
No, we did
So I
fix
tuned
the
in late.
Padres, but I think AJ Caswell wanted to be here to go ahead and congratulate the Cavs on winning game 3 and 4 analytically. So you guys go ahead.
Well, they didn't win game
it.
4 analytically, did they? It's 2-2 in the series. Game 5's tomorrow night.
It's a good question. I did not
2-2
get the
analytically?
update. I know that James Harden said that they felt like they were the better team. So
Did he really? Oh my God.
yeah,
What a dumb,
I don't know what you're
as someone
supposed to say
who
there.
loves analytics, I told this to Marty a second ago. Like, what a dumb thing to say.
Right.
Like, analytics are supposed to help you win games. That's what they're for. And you didn't win the games, so you didn't do something right.
I know, and I said that earlier on Fire Territory, AJ. The same thing. Like, I have much more in common with the analytics crowd than I do with the strap it on crowd. Right. I'm not a former player, so I can relate much more to people who talk in that method. Right. As a soccer announcer, I talk about XG all the time, about expected goals. And I can say, well, SDFC's expected goals was really good. Now, that's a different sport because it's so low scoring. But the point is, like, I do gravitate towards these numbers, and I do think that they're valuable. But the whole Kenny Atkinson thing about, hey, we've won statistically 2 out of 3, it just doesn't go over well when you're in the Eastern Conference Finals. And I did say a little bit earlier, I felt like we were gravitating towards that with the Padres, with some of the, the hard hits for the exit velocity on Fernando. And I fully am aware, like, there is correlation for success and slugging. But at some point you go, man, listen, I don't really care what it is anymore. I just need to see this man get a couple of base hits.
Yeah, the difference being that the Padres are winning games somehow, despite all of that.
Sure.
So you can kind of excuse it away by, I mean, analytically the Padres are basically a 500 team, more or less.
Yeah,
but they're outperforming their analytics.
Right.
Yeah, and like part of that is that the Pythagorean win-loss doesn't necessarily take into account the fact that you have Mason Miller as your closer and that you can maneuver your bullpen and win some games that way. And
By the way, the Padres had a much better Pythagorean theorem in 2023, except, that team didn't. It was the biggest disappointment, I think, in Padre history. So what would you rather have?
There's a lot of ways this team has been the inverse of that team. Like the Stars were pretty good on that team, but that roster was poorly constructed. And this team, the roster's been pretty well constructed, but the Stars have been dreadful. But they're outperforming because they're winning a lot of one-run games. It's been, if I'll take the opposite of 2023 because that year was miserable. That was not a fun season covering.
Yeah, and winning is like in itself like a skill. Like I do think that it's just not a. Sure. It's like it's a hard thing to quantify because there's no there is a column for it. It's called the win column, but it's not a data point. So.
But it is May, and it is a cause for warning. I think that they aren't hitting and that they aren't doing all these things. So anyway, I got to jump off here real soon, Darren. But congratulations to your Knicks. Enjoy getting swept. Enjoy getting swept in the finals, but no, I don't. I'm just kidding. I think they're pretty good.
Add you. I will say you do understand. Like it's insane how much Knicks fans have just been keeping receipts, as the kids like to say. I have watched every clip for every not over the top compliment paid towards Jalen Brunson when he signed, or predictions for every series this year from the Hawks through the second round, through the Sixers, and now through the Cavs. So we'll just add that to the list because we keep receipts.
My
and
receipts
are back in your face.
My receipts are pretty clear here. I said they were going to the finals, and I was right about that one. Mm-hmm. But I've never said a bad word about Jalen Brunson as someone who has a bunch of family that went to Villanova, and I watched him a lot in college. That guy freaking rocks.
He does rock, and he's small. He's a little guy. We should all be pulling for this guy, right? Not many little guys lead teams to the NBA Finals, nonetheless win the finals. So I think everybody should be on board with this. Good day.
Yeah.
AJ, you're the best. I know you got to bounce.
Goodbye, AJ.
Yes, I do.
Bye, AJ Cassavell. You're awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
I know. And sorry, I was busy. I was going to ask AJ for some advice because I need wardrobe advice.
I think
I'm called upon to do some television.
The World Cup reveal is actually, as you're watching this,
which got leaked last week, but whatever.
Darren, okay, real quick, because the World Cup reveal is already out by the time that we are talking about this here on Marty Time TV in the Section 1904 podcast. Go ahead. Anything glaring that you want to go ahead and break down?
Anything glaring? No. In terms of the roster itself, I mean, I have the same sort of observations that a lot of other people have about Diego Luna from Real Salt Lake. And I've seen this guy twice this year. So him not making it, I think, though, that however much disappointment there is for me with Diego Luna and a lot of other fans, it is offset by Alejandro Zendejas from Club America making the list. So I was happy to see that. I really was. I didn't think that the head coach really cared too much for players that played in the Mexican League. So I was glad to learn that he was paying attention and that he actually did rate Zendejas. So I think he's a good player. I'm happy to see him. I don't think it's an overwhelmingly good roster, but it's the roster Pulisic hasn't scored in 2026. So, kind of a problem when your best players and this kind of slump. As a matter of fact, he got benched over the weekend.
Are you talking about the Padres? Padres or Pulisic? What are you talking about here?
Yeah, I mean, that's funny. I was thinking that too. Like, what will happen first? Will Christian Pulisic score a goal or will Fernando Tatis Jr. hit a home run? It's sort of, birds of a feather at this point.
A couple weeks, I'll go with Tatis.
I don't know. They play on Sunday. They have a friendly against Senegal.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I mean, I think probably, Marty, my disappointment is that U.S. soccer just seems to be again in some sort of disarray. Like why did this leak out? like who leaked this? Why did this leak out?
Come on, everything leaks
happening in other places.
Oh, I was going to say everything leaks out.
Not this, though. I mean, it's supposed to be a moment where it shouldn't. And some of these reveal videos, the squad reveal videos, I don't know if you saw the England one where they had the Beatles track under it. It was great. Awesome. And the Senegalese one was amazing. The Scotland one was really good. So like it should be a good production. I am now, again, the reveal will have happened by the time people watch or listen to this. I am a little nervous as to what is going to be part of the U.S. one. I mean, it's like, it's going to have to be like Tom Brady, or like,
hopefully not.
I hope not.
Real quick, because Darren, I know you have to. You're doing your show today, but how controversial? I know you got to go, but how controversial pick was, or is it controversial? Gio Reyna.
I'm kind of Marty. I'm kind of a Gio Reyna fan.
Really?
So,
Okay.
You notice I lowered my tone a little bit when I said that. I know he can't get off the bench for whatever club he's playing for, but every time he puts on the U.S. shirt, he does something. And he will be playing, by the way, alongside Greg Berhalter's son.
Unbelievable.
Sebastian Berhalter, who was just here in town with the Vancouver Whitecaps, his son.
Wow.
Greg Berhalter's son, Sebastian, just was here. And, I have no objection to that. They're just, what sort of dynamic will that be? I don't know. We have a head coach, Marty, who's got one foot out the door. So, I don't know. Are they even going to listen to this guy? I'm not sure. I feel like we've sort of fumbled this opportunity to host a World Cup, which we've been building towards for so long. But maybe it's just up to the players. Maybe the players can just sort it out and figure it out and go on some sort of run. I mean, I don't think that they're going to lie down and die in group stage. I think they'll get out, and then maybe it depends on matchups, and you see how far you can go. I do. I'm one of those. It's very split. Nobody's ambiguous about Gio Reyna, and I'm sort of one who's like, yeah, I don't know, man. That guy's pretty talented. He's pretty good. I mean, he can do some things that other players just can't. I know other guys are out there scoring 15, 20 times and starting every game for their teams, and this guy can't even get a sniff. But I don't know. Every time he goes out there, he just seems to Marty do things that other players can't do, and I don't know why he can't get it going with his club team. I don't, but I am drawn in. I have the allure. He has this the scent to him that I like.
The scent? He has the scent?
I do.
The scent of appeal? Really? That's kind of
I do. I know. Even though he's
kind
a
of
little
creepy.
pouty,
That's kind of creepy.
got
By the way,
mealy mouth, little pus face, but whatever. I do dig the guy.
Does he have a punchable face?
For some people.
Is Greg Berhalter, is he doing any TV work for anybody during the World Cup?
No, I don't know. It's a good question.
He should be.
I mean, he's the head coach of the Chicago Fire in MLS, so I don't know. Maybe he's looking for something to do.
He should absolutely. He needs to be a studio guest.
Or maybe he just wants to be a dad.
Else.
Maybe he should just go be a dad. Maybe he should just, he should just go and follow the team around and be supportive. He's a former U.S. men's national team player, former coach, so maybe he's just going to be a dad and stay out of the way this time. Because last time, Marty, I think he was certainly a contributing factor into some of the turmoil and some of the controversy.
But that doesn't
let
pay
that
the
guy
bills.
off the hook.
Just being a dad does not pay the bills, Darren.
Oh, well, his son's there. Maybe let your son have the spotlight.
That's true. That's a great point.
Maybe you could just leave it up to Sebastian.
Okay. By the way, speaking of paying the bills, I know you have to go. I want to thank all of you guys for watching Marty Time TV and the Section 1904 podcast. I'm putting up the QR code for Section 1904 to go ahead and get the links to Apple. Darren does a great job putting it on Apple, on Spotify. He does some different other analyst work on his Substack page. So there's the QR code right there. Also, please like and subscribe here. We appreciate it. Listen, I saw that the get-in prices for Game 3, Darren, of the NBA Finals, it starts at $3,500. So we can go ahead and we would like your likes. Please subscribe to the show. It helps us. We are trying to keep this going at least 4 times a week so we could appreciate the support, and Darren needs it for his Knicks. Don't listen to AJ Caswell. He's a bitter Nets fan. He spent the first few minutes of this show slandering your beloved Knicks, Darren. But,
did he?
Yes, he did. But
yeah, I mean, they've won 11 straight by 260 something points. It is literally the greatest run in NBA history.
Don't tell me you're nervous. You're not nervous, right? Bring it, baby.
I'm a little bit nervous, Marty, because it's the first time now that I'm like, whoa, this team's got a chance. And I think people don't. I mean, I don't want to bore everybody because I'm sure people would rather hear Padre takes than this, but I mean, it speaks more to sports fandom than it does to anything. Like those of us that were of a certain age in 1994. Now I know the team was back in the finals in '99, but that team had no chance. Patrick Ewing got hurt. Larry Johnson got hurt. They were the 8th seed. It was this miracle, like this magic carpet ride. Nobody believed they were even going to win a game, and they did. They did win one against the Spurs. But 94 was the year that I was convinced that they were going to win the NBA title. I've never been more convinced as a fan of anything in my life than I was in 1994. And those scars are still there, man. Like that emotional trauma still exists, and going up 3-2 in the NBA finals and losing game 6 by a fingernail when Hakeem Olajuwon blocks John Stark's shot. And then John Stark's game 7 goes 2 for 18, 0 for 11 from 3-point range. Yes, these are things that are burned into my memory banks just off the top of my head. And you were that close. And this is the team that I've loved more than any other team. And it would be very liberating if it could figure out a way to win. It would free me. But I mean, you still carry some of that emotional baggage, that trauma from being a sports fan about what 1994. And again, the context was different. I mean, the Rangers were in the Stanley Cup final, and I didn't care about that at all. I'm not a hockey guy, as you know. And like every night was like they were winning a game, and then the Knicks were playing a game. and you were like, oh, it's going to happen. You felt it. And then they came up short in game 7. And like, I didn't listen on the radio for a week after that. Like I just was
a week.
I was pretty shattered, man. I was like the most shattered, I think, most heartbroken I've ever been for anything, for like a relationship, for anything. So to be back in this situation is, I mean, to be back in this situation is, and to have a team that's likable and to have a team that is, winning the way that they are winning is, it's been a little bit of an uncomfortable ride. I'm not going to lie. Like there's been some hesitation to fully embrace and enjoy this because I still, like a lot of fans who are old enough to have lived through 1994. Like that was, you'd almost rather just get swept. You know what I mean? Rather than,
I do. Like, don't prolong the agony. I get it. I get it.
Yeah. I mean, and then like, you're like up 3-2 and you're like, yeah, they're going to win. And, it's the disappointment of 1993 of losing to up 2-0.
Now, are you worried about the off time they're going to have? Because the Western Conference is
a little bit, but
go.
The trade-off is these two teams just beat each other up. Just, Spurs and Thunder just beat each other up. I think the Knicks are just like legitimately, objectively a good matchup. So, yeah, I don't know. It's very weird. I mean, it's been a long time. And I think Mike Breen said it very well last night. It's like, it's been 27 years since the finals, but even longer than that, since there was a legitimate chance of winning. 94 was the last time I think they had a legitimate chance of winning. And it's been 53 years. That's my whole life. It's my whole life. So, I know it's the same. I've always said this. I feel like my Knicks fandom is different than my Padres fandom. But in some ways, there's a lot of overlap. There is a lot of similarity. The people have waited a long, long time to see something good happen.
Yeah.
And again, like that 94 thing was just so crushing. It just was so crushing. Like, I cannot explain how emotionally wrecked I was from that series.
When you are a starved sports fan, Darren, there is nothing like thinking that feeling of my team legitimately has a chance. And I'll go ahead and kind of end on that note.
Right, but real quick on that, Marty, because I know people, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just will say, because I know some people would say, well, hey, like, these fans also had like the Yankees and the Rangers. The Giants have won a couple times. I didn't care about any of those. Right. You know what I mean? Like that was not my emotional investment.
Right.
And there are a lot of people here because there are 2 baseball teams and there are 2 football teams there and there are 2 hockey teams there, but there's 1 basketball team there, AJ. There's 1. The other team nobody cared about. The other team played in a different state. Like nobody cared. And they don't care. But like that's the team that's why you see this reaction like you're seeing from the fans here. Because that's the team that sort of, it connects the different fans of the baseball teams. And those things were not important to me. I love baseball. I went to a million Mets games as a kid. I went to a million Yankee games as a kid. I had my favorite players, right? Like growing up in that area. I mean, I remember my dad taking me to go see Doc Gooden at Shea Stadium. It was such a big deal, So like, I like the players, Bernie Williams a little later on in life was one of my, Don Mattingly, Gary Carter with like, so on and on and on. I'm just babbling here, but like that team was there are a lot of people like me who just cared about that and didn't really, it wasn't a trade-off to have this shitty basketball team for 50, for certainly the last 20 years, because some other teams in town won. Maybe for other people, but not for me. Like that never mattered. This is the one that mattered. So again, I'm a little nervous about it. Gets me a little, I don't know. I start thinking like, I've been looking for a lot of flights. San Antonio, Oklahoma City, not easy to get there.
Book it. Actually, you can't book it yet because you don't know you don't know where you're going.
Right.
But that's your best way in, though, right? Because for New York, forget it. It's too much money.
Yeah, I mean, unless you can take a chance when they make some tickets available to the public. Maybe you can take a chance on that. I mean, even some of us on the group chat last night were like, well, hey, would we want to go and like go to that Radio City Music Hall thing where all those fans were? Because that looked kind of fun.
Yes.
Would we want to go if there is a parade? But again, we're premature here.
Parade.
Maybe AJ Cassavell's right. They're going to get stomped by whoever comes out of the West. I hope not. But, I think they have a chance. And that's something that I haven't really said, Marty, in over 30 years. So
that's amazing.
Yeah. I mean,
you did not strike me as a parade person.
I went to the Rangers one just because I had friends who were Rangers fans. So again, summer of '94, the Rangers and the Knicks sharing a building were both in their final, the Stanley Cup final. And I went to the Rangers one because I had friends. I was like, well, I want to go because I want to see where we're going to go for the Knicks parade. The Rangers ended up winning it before the Knicks series.
Well, now you know
like,
where
were we? And I was like, well, we'll come down here and we'll go over to this place and we'll go over to that place. And And so I did go, and you're right. It was hot. It was sweaty. It was gross, like fucking disgusting. But, people seem to be having a good time with it, and that was enough for me to think like, yeah, this is going to be us in a couple of days. And then just, it ended in the most agonizing way possible. So I don't know. I'm not saying that we're going to do it, but there's a chance. And I'm looking for options.
Hey, you do it because you've waited your entire lifetime. You never know when it's going to happen again. Sports is strange. You can't take it for granted. But I was going to say, Darren, when you feel like this team has legitimate chance to finally win, you go because you don't know what's going to happen. You might go 0 for 22 with runners in scoring position and really have to wonder about your roster. If you have a legit chance, you go for it.
Yeah, I agree. And, I think that's all you can really ask as a fan, like, will I be crushed again? Maybe not as much as 94, but like it'll hurt, the same way some of these moments around here have hurt, like there's been some real agonizing ways to lose football games in this city and agonizing ways to lose a baseball series in this city. And I've been there. Like I said, it's a different emotional connection for me, but I recognize it for sure. But this is one now where it's just a little, it just brings back a lot of seeing all these old videos and seeing all the old players, Marty, seeing all the old players, how much they're really hanging around with this team now is like really a very, very cool thing to see. I know it's all about their fans and how obnoxious they are and all that stuff.
Okay, I'm sorry. One last question. Who was the player that James Dolan banned from Madison
Charles
Square
Oakley.
Garden? Has he been allowed back in?
He was there last night in Cleveland.
Oh, he was? Oh,
I was thinking about that earlier today. Like, what a great way right before Game 3. Since Game 3, they won't have home court. But what a great way that would be if you have Charles Oakley come out in some capacity. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Like that's the other part of it too. Like this team was so bad. I cannot express. This is like the worst franchise in sports for about 2 decades.
With the worst
no joke.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, maybe he had some sort of epiphany about how to run a sports team. I don't know, but I'm just glad that he figured it out before we all died.
Brown. By the way, the irony, Mike
USD.
Brown, USD, but also taking down his former team.
Yeah.
Another bad owner. I mean,
team they took to the finals, by the way. Yeah,
I love it.
With LeBron, he was sort of an afterthought, but Mike Brown, USD.
I know
USD's Mike Brown is now in a position.
I'll send you his number. Maybe you can work your magic, Darren, and you can get him to come on the show. Let's do this.
I love that.
Let's go. Okay.
I love it.
I know you missed me and AJ Cassavell, but we did solve all the Padres
perfect
offensive woes. So, Darren, when you're done doing your World Cup and your TV appearance, you can go back. We did solve the Padres' problems. 31.
Well, you're welcome, Steven Souza.
Yes. And he doesn't blame Steven Souza either. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget.
I don't know if anybody's blaming him.
No. I mean, I know. Stars got a hit. They're not going to get back to their All-Star. The Padres are going to have one All-Star this season. It's going to be Mason Miller, and that's going to be it. No one offensively. Because Gavin Sheets, you're not going in as a pinch hitter. All right. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Has money though.
I know we need to send Darren to the the NBA Finals. $3,500 get-in price. So we appreciate you guys liking, subscribing. All right.
I saw somebody post on social media that you can get 4 tickets to Game 3, the first game at MSG, or you can buy a house in Oklahoma.
That's very funny.
I think I'd rather have the 4 tickets if I'm being honest. But
100%.
That's just me.
With plumbing and everything. You plumbing?
With the house in Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I shouldn't do. I don't know. All right.
I'm not into my.
Look at this guy. Look at that, Darren. You should do a show every day. You should do 7 days a week. You've got stuff to talk about, my friend.
I got lots of things that have been bottled up, Marty. This has been a lot of therapy.
I love it. You should. Why don't we do it next time? You should invite a random person from your Knicks chat and just go. Just do it. And
we were all joking today about who is the biggest loser player that you were convinced would actually be good, right? Like sort of for a Padre fan, like who was your Jabari Blash? You're like, I don't know, that guy might be good.
Jabari Blash.
And it's like, I can't remember driving to the NBA to the summer league once because I was like, the Knicks drafted Kevin Knox. Like that guy, I think he's got a chance.
Drafted, not UDFA. Like you can't go.
Right.
Oh gosh, who was it? Not Franmil Reyes. Come on, you just saw him in Tijuana when you went down there. Who was it?
Oh, Franchi Cordero.
Yes, Cordero.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey,
I mean, there's all sorts of guys that you just convince yourself. You're like, I think that guy's going to be good.
I know.
But it just is. It's from a position of like you
Of
know
hope.
everything else is shit, and you're like, well, what else do I have here? But to hope that this thing turns into something.
Yeah.
I remember driving out there to Vegas, like, yeah, they just drafted this guy out of Kentucky, Kevin Knox. You know, I don't mean to dump on that guy today, but like, there's been a lot of those names. Like a lot of people are passing around like starting fives from back. Padre fans do this all the time. They're like, God, look at our starting five back in 2014. What the hell was going on around these?
Oh, dude.
Now it's
let me tell you
Manny
this.
and Tatis and Xander Bogaerts.
When you walk down the tunnel at Petco Park there on the way to the Padres clubhouse, you know what I'm talking about. They have every single starting lineup since the beginning of the Padres, and it's like, or actually Petco Park. It's it's staggering to see the names. All right, listen, I gotta go. Let's go ahead and talk.
I gotta go too. I gotta be on television. I gotta
Petco
put on a
Park.
suit. Apparently,
You're gonna be fine. Put your suit on over your emo brown t-shirt and let's go. Okay. All right, Darren Smith, congratulations. Congratulations on making it on the show. I thought for sure you were reveling in the streets with the bros with your shirt off and your.
I didn't even drink last night.
All right, I gotta go. Peace out.
All right,
That's
sorry.
Darren Smith. I'm Marty Caswell. Thank you for watching the Marty Time TV and the Section 1904 podcast. We are brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. Thanks so much. Have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
First off, stand up.
I'm just gonna do it because you have way more years than me in the show.
That's right, repeta. Hey, coming off first week of the season, Fernando, how do you feel the energy of the team is building as the season is progressing?
Feel great.
Una palabra nada más? Nice, that's how I would do it.